Hello and welcome to another video regarding SAP ABAP module pool. In this video, we will discuss the transaction and the practical execution of batch input recorder. Screen objective. The participant will be able to record a transaction through the batch input recorder tool, save and modify the resulting recording, transform the recording into custom program, explain the limitation. We will explain the limitation and advantages of using the batch input recorder. If we want to do batch input recording for our transaction vendor creation FK01, we will perform this recording via T code of batch input recorder in the next slide. The main points which you should know before executing the transition is the batch input recorder is a tool that become available with the 3.1 release. It means that this happened and this is available after the release of 3.1 release of SAP. It allows the user to record transition while they are being manually entered. Then the user can create a batch input session to be executed at a later time. It means that if a user want to perform any task and he want to just record all the step regarding the task and and if you want to surely any user want to do some transition at later time. So for this for this input recorder method, user can't user not no need to user to memorize all the step. He only have to just record his steps after only the first transition, and then later on he use the recording and do all its steps regarding the transition, regarding the task. Secondly, once the transition is recorded, a batch input program can be generated. This program is then available for modification by the programmer in order to meet customer requirement. Similarly, if user have a lot of records, a lot of information for the same transition, if he want to if he want to upload, or if he want to upload the all the desired information of this transition, he will use the input program which will be generated by the ABAP by using this recording. The batch input recorder tool can serve as a good base for creating a batch input session. It allows the programmer to gather information on a specific transaction such as screen number, field name, and values, and stores it in a form of a log or a batch input program. It is then up to the programmer to develop an appropriate batch input program that meet customer requirement. It The recording, the input screen recording, drastically helps the programmer which need for to create the batch input program, like a screen number and other thing, transition and so and so. It saves all the information into a recording, and the programmer can easily use this information and utilize according to the requirement. The next slide will outline steps in creating. In next slide, we will do this task by step. First of all, we have to call the SHDB transition for input stream recorder. Then we will create here we will see all the already created recording, and above the left of the screen we will have new recording button. We will have to press new recording button. The batch input recording is going to integrate itself with the transition that you choose. From this point, it will seem as in the next slide we have to give the transition code which we want to record and the steps. Behind the scene, the recorder in this example we will do FK01. Transition code is FK01 for creation of vendor. Behind the scene, the recorder will keep track of all the data of screen. We will do that first test record into the screen, and the batch input recorder will automatically save all the information in the backend. Starting with the first string transition SHDB, choose a name of your recording. Does not need to start with Y or Z. As far as in ABAP, as far as other customization, we don't need to start our recording name with Y or Z. Then click new recording button to begin the recording. Let's see into this slide. Here we have a recording, and we give the name of the recording, and we give the transition code field. We give the transition code, and then click to the next step. To we will have the FK01 screen, and in this screen we will fill all the required information, and then click the save button. Remember, this is only the example. If you are required to fill in additional field, be sure after something to enter something in those field as well. The recorder does not record fields that were not populated during the recording session. The recorder will also record the last position of the cursor on each of the screen. In this example, on a screen on the account group field, and so the last position of the cursor will be the account field. Note, the data you are entering will be saved in the database. If you click the save button to avoid save button, the data will be will be saved in your database. But if we want to avoid to save the data, we will click on the back button. Here is the screen we are talking about. Here one screen is a create vendor address. First screen is a create vendor, and the second screen is a create vendor address. We all enter the record information which we want to record into the recording, and then click back button. In step 4, we will have a screen which will showing the all the information which we have done into our recording, like program for screen 1, program for screen 2, and screen. These all the information are same like the our BDC data structure as we discussed in previous video. We'll have two thing here. We have to save the recording, and for multiple recording, we will click into the multiple recording button. Now, in the next step, we can see the overview of the recording screen. Here we have four types of at least five type of button available in the top layer of screen. And first one is process button, second one is session button, third one is program button, then fourth one is test data, and fifth one is function module button. We use process the recording button to process the recording which selected in the detail section, and we use session button. We will see the steps for creating the session in the next slides, and we use the program button to create the ABAP program for mass data upload by using the recording, and then function module button which used to create a function module by using the recording selected in the detail section. Recording overview screen. From the recording overview screen, uh, we can edit the selected recording if anything we want to add or we want to edit something, and we will create the pencil button right up there, and in the beside this there is a view button. We can see all the information regarding the recording which is selected in the detail section, and afterwards there is a delete button. We can delete the selected recording um, um, very easily and very firmly. Now, if we go to the edit button, which is in which we can modify the recording detail, we will move to the edit, modify the recording screen. Here you can see the all the information located in the program screen, start ID and field name and field values are same as we have already discussed in the previous video um, regarding BDC data and BDC data structure. Here you can also note that there are two buttons present here: import, export from local file. For information we want to import, we want to import into the already saved recording. We can import it by using and selecting the local file. Furthermore, if we want to export the current recording to a local file, we can also export it and save wherever we want to save the file. Here we can also add or delete any information or any lines of any information which are lies into the detail section. Now, you can transform the recording into the batch input session by clicking the session button. You should perform this step only if you plan to really execute the transaction with the data you have just entered. The step is not necessary to create an ABAP batch input program or to save the recording. Name of the session does not have to be same as the name of the recording. If you want to keep the session after it has been successfully processed, you should check the keep session box. Furthermore, the end of this process is a batch input session that contain only the data you have just input in the transaction and recorded. The session must be processed in order for the database table to be updated. Most of the time, you will not want to perform this step but would rather go straight to creating a batch input program. I must say the batch input program is most important for the uploading of data by uploading of data by using the ABAP program, because ABAP program all the information which ABAP program need to upload the batch input data. um, uh, all the information can be easily gathered, can be easily stored by using the batch input recorder or recordings. If you have saved the data while entering the transaction but now want the database to be updated, you will need to modify the BDC underscore OK code to now equal to yes instead of no in the very end of the transaction. This is a transform to session screen. You can see here session name is showing and keep session checkbox is showing, and the authorization field is also lies after the session name. Transform to program, the second button. uh, if we go to the second button of program, we move on to the screen where program name will be asked by the SAP, and in the field contents we have to save the transform from recording. There are two options: read from file and transform from recording. For recording, we have to select transform from recording option. When you create a data transfer program, you can decide whether fixed data is to be transferred from the recording or whether variable data should be read from the sequential file. In the first case, the program must still be modified so that it can transfer variable data. In the second case, the system creates a structure in the program using which one data record is read from the sequential file. The file access program, open, read, close are automatically in the program. A no data tracker character that can be specified during the program flow control whether a component of a structure should be occupied or simply ignored. In the program you have created, you can decide whether the batch input data transfer should occur using call transaction, using traditional batch input session method. Creating test data. To test the batch input program, you have to created create the data as we created before. You can create a data record as sequential file. The data record contains all field contained from the recording that are relevant to the data transfer. It means that for creating the file, you should know what fields needed to update onto the recording, and all the fields will be created in the column wise, so that the program easily upload the data. Resulting program. By selecting the program button, we will finally see the resulting program of a recording. Now our recording has been transformed to the ABAP program, which we have given the names at FK01_test. The include, which is very important in this program, is BDC RECX1, is the SAP standard one. If we want to do the same thing, or if we want to create a sequence of the transition with other transition, we will use this include in other program easily. Hope so. That's all, friends. Hope you learn a lot from this video, and regarding the batch input recorder, and regarding the how to make a BAP program for batch input recording, and what are the transition involved in it, and what are the process and steps involved in batch input recording creation. Bye for now. We will meet into the next interesting video. Thank you.